No worries. Yeah, I know you're an Apple guy, so. For sure. For sure. Yeah, let me do that right now. And I can also just share the link with you. Here, I can send you the link too. I just emailed it to you right now. It says I'm in a video call with you. However, cool. Weirdly, sometimes Safari works better than Chrome.
I just switched to Chrome. All right.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna hang this up.
All right, see.
All right, thanks so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I'm just pull up the questions right here. So overall, I'm working with a client down in Palo Alto that's launching something in the finance world. I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but yeah, just have some basic questions here for you. So, which bank and banking providers do you currently use?
Wells Fargo for the main bank, and then that's mostly it. And then like E-Trade. Do you mean like all accounts and stuff, or just the main bank?
Anything, any finance related applications, online, mobile, anything?
Yeah, E-Trade, and then Wealthfront, and Robinhood, and Lending Club, and then I think I also have a Citibank account. And a Citibank investment account.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, could you tell me how you feel about each of those different banking providers? Or apps?
Yeah, just like random. Like Wells Fargo is good. I've had them since college, and that's just like a normal checking account, so it's pretty simple. Yeah, no complaints there. Uh, Wealthfront, I feel like it's okay. Like for an investment account, it's okay. Like I don't know, it's hard to say because you just kind of like leave stuff in there and you don't do anything with it, right? So it's like gone up and then now it's gone down and now it's come back about to even. I'm just kind of watching it, like not really bothering to mess with it. Um, what else is there? And that's like a smaller percentage. Like E-Trade is also okay. Like I don't know if this is true for a lot of places, but it sucks when you sell like Apple shares. Like most of my, they basically pay me mostly in Apple shares. It sucks when you sell that and then you have to wait like 4 days to get it out. I don't know if that's an E-Trade problem or like a regular stock problem. But other than, and also like it sucks that E-Trade takes money for every trade because, you know, on Wells Fargo and like Robinhood, they wouldn't do that. But overall, it's not too bad, you know. It's not, you know, it's not like I use it for anything crazy. And then what else? Lending Club is good. That's just to, you know, it's like another investment account, I guess, and I feel like it's also pretty simple. But it's like one of those things that always seems to go up, right? It's like people always need to borrow money, especially with like banks not loaning as much money, right? So it's pretty easy to be a lender there and like make something decent off of it. I forgot the last. No, I forgot the last one.
I think you mentioned Robinhood.
Oh yeah. I barely use it. Like I just, yeah, I don't really use it that much. I started an account and that's about it. I bought a couple things and then that's about it.
Cool. Do you know how much you've earned in interest from your existing accounts?
For like Lending Club, it's like 8%, and then Wealthfront, it's like basically come back to zero. So it was up a lot at one point, obviously, you know, and then market crashed, and then it's climbing back up. Everything else, I haven't really earned interest on it, or like it's just been in the stock market, so it just kind of depends on how the shares are doing. Like mostly, by far, my number one thing is Apple stock. So just watching that go is, you know, like that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yeah. Do you know how much you keep in your do you keep a significant amount in your Wells Fargo account?
Not really. Like I just kind of use it to move, you know, like pay off my credit card or just like, you know, obviously to buy stuff, right? But it's like I keep most of my stuff outside of cash and like into other things.
Yeah, it's smart. Cool. So do you have any idea how much you're earning on your Wells Fargo account?
It's basically nothing. It's just a checking account. I have a savings account in there, but I don't use it. And even if I was, it would be like under 1%.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like
So,
there was I think I had a Capital One account at some point, and it didn't do. You know, it was like under 1% interest rate. Right. So it was not really worth it.
yeah. Okay. So this is actually how much interest you earn on your Wells Fargo. I don't know if it's backwards, but it says
I see.
0.01% interest on your Wells Fargo account. But it sounds like you kind of already knew that.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe there is. Sometimes you see like interest payment paid, and it's like 45 cents or something. You know, like all right, I don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that amount of interest you've earned? Do you have any sort of ways to describe it or words that might describe that?
Well, I would say like it's one of those things when you think about it, like it's kind of in your head already that you don't plan to make anything extra on that kind of account. So that's why you don't keep anything, you know, like I wouldn't keep anything in there, you know. When I get paid, I just spend it on my credit card or whatever, just move it somewhere else, right? So it's one of those things that's ingrained in your head, right? Like you don't expect that to make you any money.
Yeah. How much do you think your bank is earning on interest on? How much do you think your bank is earning from that money in your account at Wells Fargo?
I don't know, like definitely more than what they would pay out, but even still, I don't know how much they really make off of it. It's also because it's not really a big amount of cash in there, you know. So I don't know.
Sure. So this is actually how much Wells Fargo makes on your particular account. And again, I don't know if it's backwards. You can read it well.
No, I see it. Okay, that's a lot higher than I thought.
But yeah, they make 3.24% on your particular account. Do you have any particular thoughts on that? Just kind of based on how much you're making, how much they're making?
I mean, it seems kind of unfair. Like, if they're gonna pay that much, if they would pay that much out, you'd still not like rely on it as like a solid investment account, I think. But you wouldn't feel bad about leaving a lot more money in there, you know, and just like letting it, like if you're not planning to use it on something else, right? That would be like a acceptable, you know, just something better than nothing, right? And it seems like you would always get it. Like you would never lose that. It would be very steady gain. So that it does seem kind of unfair. I had no idea that they could make that much.
Yeah. What makes you put money into different places since you obviously have diversified quite a bit? Like what triggers you to do that? And
Just because like it's better to put something not in a checking account, not really in a savings account these days either. And then I don't know. It's also like I guess I kind of like trying different things and seeing what works with like turning some money into like more money. I guess I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, that's about it. Like just one of those things that you kind of know. You think about like not, you don't need to leave it in your bank account because there's other things you can try.
yeah. Can you talk about anything that any of your finance providers have done that's pissed you off at all or irritated you?
Um,
I guess you mentioned a little bit that you're irritated that you have to sit for 4 days before getting your money back.
yeah, that was the from E-Trade. Like just when you sell shares, it kind of takes a few days before it gets in your account, and then when you move money out of E-Trade, it's harder. It just takes longer. Stuff like that. Uh, I mean, like the Citibank investment account. I had to move some Apple shares when I opened a mortgage account with them. Like they had this stipulation that was kind of annoying. They're like, if you want a cheaper mortgage rate, you have to put in like so much amount of money into a Citibank investment account. And then now it's like I just had to move money there for no reason, and it like I didn't need that account. Now I'm just kind of watching more Apple shares in that account also. Um, but then it helps to get a better they're like that's one of the requirements on a better mortgage deal. I was like, okay, I'll do it then. It doesn't cost me anything to move it there.
Yeah. So, what do you think any of your banks or finance apps could possibly do to excite you, make you even more happy?
Um, I don't know. I guess if you're hinting at paying you more interest for leaving cash in there, I think I would take that. Um, Honestly, like I can't really think of anything really solid. I guess one other thing would be really easy. Um, like one big thing is that E-Trade took a while to get really good tax documents, and that was kind of frustrating because then for a little while you're calculating more of it by hand. I think something big is getting everything for taxes like organized just neatly and like and on time, and like a lot more like info, I guess, on what you need to do when your taxes come around. Like now E-Trade's better, but it took a while to get there. Um, that's one thing. And also, I guess everybody having those things online. Like I know they mail it to you, and then sometimes it's lost, and then sometimes different firms will have their forms online. Sometimes, I mean, even now, I think some of them don't keep it online. You have to like call them and ask them to mail you a new one, stuff like that. Trying to think of anything else. I guess I haven't thought about it too much. It's like I feel like everything I've used in an app for has been pretty solid.
Cool. Cool. Well, I guess I'll tell you more about the product that I'm working on. It's not my product. I'm consulting with a company down in Palo Alto.
Mhm.
But basically, they have a product where you put money into an account or a service, as they like to call it, and it just earns 2% interest with you really needing to do nothing. Pretty similar to your checking and savings accounts. It's also liquid. You can kind of put money in and out. And the way they can do that is basically, the rate I showed you, banks are making 3 to 4%, sometimes even more on your money. And so there's still plenty of margin to play with. It's just people that margin doesn't get passed down to actual people very, very frequently. Does that kind of make sense to you? How that'll work?
Yeah.
It's literally just moving money into it and you get 2% interest annually. Are there any ways that you could describe that solution and what you think about it and how you feel about it?
I mean, it sounds better than using a like a Wells checking account. I wouldn't use that over like the other investment accounts because those tend to make you more, right? But like it definitely sounds better than Wells. I guess what the one thing though is you want it to be have as many features as like a Wells checking account does, right? Like being able to transfer money easily and pay your bills easily. Like I wouldn't say they have the greatest like like Wells Fargo at least doesn't have the greatest UI for doing those kind of things, but they have all those things there if you just like fill out a couple forms or click around on their webpage and stuff, you know? So I think that would be one thing. I don't know, like then you kind of if you don't have all that, but you pay off a little more money, it's like you'd still want all those features that are in the Wells Fargo account of just paying people and whatever else they make it convenient for you to do, you know?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. You're using Wells Fargo for the convenience, not necessarily for the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're getting a better interest rate from some of the other stuff you're doing? You mentioned Lending Club, you're getting like 8%, but do you think you're getting 2% from anything else that you're doing?
Not really. I mean, Wealthfront is lower than that right now, but that's just because of the stock market, right? So it's going to be more volatile, anyways. So I think everything else is pretty much higher. I mean, well,
Okay.
unless you count something like PayPal and Venmo, right? But that's just small amounts that you use to transfer, so I don't really expect anything there, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Um, could you give a comparison about the product that I just told you about to any other ones you've heard of that have any similarities, and what your thoughts were about whenever you heard of those other products?
Like I don't know too much about different banking like account products, you know. So I'm not sure if there's anything that's similar. Because well, if you say it's like PayPal and Venmo where you can just keep money in there, those two things you don't make any interest off of them, right? So I guess the goal for those is like transfer and then get it to your bank as quick as possible or whatever. Um, that's what I can think of.
Yeah, we're actually looking to integrate like basic Venmo stuff so that when people pay you for dinner, it just goes into this account and you start earning 2%.
Right. Yeah. Like that would be pretty useful to be able to transfer quickly and then not have to worry about after that transferring it to your, like knowing that if you don't transfer to your bank, you're getting a positive effect out of it, you know?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, okay. Do you think you could do the like just basic math on your head? You don't have to actually give me the number, but the basic math of how much this might actually make you in about a year's time, based on kind of the money you have sitting in a bank. And do you think that's actually a decent amount of money?
Um, well, I think it would make me change my habit of putting more money in a bank, you know? I think as of now, it'd probably make like an extra, like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 a year or something, like somewhere between that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I've never had a huge amount of cash at one time. I usually, if I need some, you know, like when we got the house, I had needed a whole bunch, right? So it was sitting in the bank for a couple months. But other than that, yeah. So I don't know. It would kind of change your habits though a little bit if you knew you were getting something higher than zero.
For sure. Yeah. Uh, the difference in percentages is actually about 10,000x. Do you
Hmm.
think that's kind of a message that people would really understand and resonate with them? Or do you think that it's just kind of borderline absurd to even mention that?
I actually think that makes sense. You know, like if you can say that number, like earn 10,000 times the interest. Like first, you could say like, did you know you actually earn interest at your bank? Because I barely even registered that, you know. And then you
Mhm.
could say, well, now that you know that, would you want to make 10,000 times more or something like that? You know, it does sound like a good number.
Cool. Any final thoughts? Any thoughts from your end on anything? We have reached the end of this segment.
um, no, not really. I don't know. It sounds like yeah, I could kind of tell where you're going when you started talking about the interest rate stuff. So then the only other thing I would say is it would really help to have some of those features of transferring and, you know, if you expect it to be like a checking account, like having the bill pay and stuff like that. But if you expect it to be like Venmo or whatever, just um, I don't know, like really stress that you got an incentive, you know, you have an incentive to not move the money somewhere else, you know?
Totally. Yeah, it'll be closer to the Venmo PayPal thing. They're not really looking to like issue debit cards. All right, like moving money in and out will be really simple. It'll just be a quick one button thing with your current bank. But yeah, as far as like using it to do a lot of like issuing checks or issuing bank cards, it wouldn't really have that.
Makes sense. But then, so can I ask you, how does Venmo make does it make a bunch of money? Because like when you move to Venmo, that you can get it out in like less than a day, you know?
Yeah, no, they don't. They sold to PayPal for like absolutely nothing, which was weird because they had a ton of traction. I mean, if you have enough money that's just that you're sitting on,
Mhm.
like if you have billions of dollars that you're just sitting on, you can earn interest on that money, like similarly to how your bank earns. If the bank is really risky with your money, they can make 3 to 4% on it. If they're really safe and just put it into index funds, they can make like, percent or two on it just by sitting there. So if you have billions coming in and out, you can make like 1% on that money, just investing it in different areas.
Sure, but like I don't think Venmo has billions, right? Or
They probably have billions.
you think
Yeah.
so? They do. Wow.
Nowadays, yeah.
That
But they made no money on the acquisition. PayPal's making all the money now.
right. I guess they grew a lot more after they sold to PayPal. They might be regretting it.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm sure. Yeah.
right.
Unless they got amazing deals, but the cash they got wasn't much. But it might have been something behind the scenes, like a bunch of stock or something.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense. I mean, they have to have some reason if they think that they've got traction. They
I'm
have to have
guessing
some
the
reason to
reason is
sell.
they were out of money. I think
Yeah,
that.
that's also true.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this, and yeah, dude, have fun on your trip, and yeah, thanks for taking all this time.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it helped. All right, man. Take care.
Cool. See you later.
Bye.